no matter what you do, no matter what choice you make about anything at all related to, remember, resources, accumulation of skills, whatever it is, whatever allows you to accumulate more, every decision you make, you could make a different decision. That's personal decisions, okay? Now, give me an example of a structural factor that impacts inequality.
Maybe they need to get a job to support themselves or their families.
Okay, got it. Okay, you're going. Now you're on a roll. Keep going, right? What else?
Maybe they created something that they think is of higher value than spending it on their student loans or something.
Yeah, maybe they're trying to save up money to buy crack or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? If you would have dropped out of high school, you'd call your parents and said, hey, I'm dropping out of high school. What would they have said?
They'll be disappointed again.
Dude, how disappointed, man.
Very.
You'd have been kicked out of your whole family. Think about this. What would they have done? They would have come down. They would have dropped the hammer on you. Man.
Yeah, they beat the shit out of me.
Okay, all right. Okay, now we're talking, right? Yo, did you hear what she said? The first thing she said when I said, why are the Dominican numbers so low? She said, we don't push ourselves. Just look at black people, man. All I've really gotten from you thus far, look at American Indians. All we really got from you thus far is, well, American Indians, black people, Hispanics need to push themselves a little harder. What else is going on that can make sense of those numbers? How about the Asian numbers? Why are the Asian numbers so high? Do you know why they're so high?
Yeah, because they push themselves.
Nah, dude, they push themselves. That's the one thing. It's the structural piece. The sociology is the structural piece. Every country will take some poor people because you have to, but every country would rather have rich immigrants than poor immigrants. And so, yeah, you take the wealthy folks. It's a miracle. It's the eighth wonder of the world. Compound interest. What are black people, Hispanic people, and American Indians going to be talking about in 2050? For you, what explains these numbers? You said a little bit about the history and.
Yeah. Also, I believe some people they grow in not good areas at all. Mm-hmm. And their job is also not the best, probably, and that reflects why Hispanic and black people have these values, and also is just opportunities. This country is a country of a lot of opportunities, but not everyone knows how to keep that opportunity because sometimes it's difficult to grow in the society.
Okay.
And
here, go to the next slide. So here, look at this. Let's go. You sort of open this up a little bit, right? Personal decisions and or structural and historical factors. Okay. So how are these two related? All of the causal explanations that we could bring to this, they're going to fall into those that we would talk about as personal decisions, okay? All of them, they go together, and or all of those that are structural and historical factors over here, okay? So give me an example of personal decisions, somebody.
You can decide if you go to school and have good grades, or just skip school and not have good grades.
Okay.
That's one example that some people can grow in the society by just going to school, trying to have good grades, trying to have a scholarship to go to university.
Okay, so another one. Give me another one. Oh, go ahead.
Save a part of your paycheck instead of wasting all of it.
Saving your paycheck instead of wasting all of it. Okay, got you. Yep.
I'd say personal decision can be getting a high school diploma or a college degree, something like that. Depends on person to person. As you were speaking about Asian median wealth, and I know the difference between mean and median, but I would say it ultimately boils down to your maybe family decisions also.
Okay.
So something like, kind of hard to say, but like something like if I'm an international student and tomorrow I come up to my parents and kind of say that I want to do golf management or something like that. So they'll
And then
just
what would your parents say?
don't really know about it, but they'll be like disappointed.
Okay, so personal decisions, right? Like it's
Yeah.
also part of that. There's a personal decision in there. They could decide, hey, let's support Aryan.
Yeah, they'll support me, but then eventually I don't think so. I'll be coming abroad and I'll just make a rational decision.
Okay, good. Somebody else. Ella, how about you? What's an example of personal decision that impacts inequality? How about you? What are you doing? What are you doing here? What are you studying?
Architectural engineering.
Okay, so personal decision. Why that?
Because it's like a steady job. There's,
Okay.
a good market for it.
Okay, so you made a personal decision to get a steady job.
But
Did
I
you
feel like education is a personal decision to an extent, but not everybody has the funds
Okay,
to
well,
like, get a
hang on.
higher
That's
education.
another thing, okay? How about this? Do you smoke weed?
No,
Have you done like smoke crack or anything like that?
no,
So how's that? Is that a personal decision?
yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. How about what else?
I guess drinking,
Okay, studying for your exams.
yeah.
You see, everything's a personal decision, right? You're here. Do you come to class? Do you go to most of your classes?
Yes,
Okay, personal decisions, right? Do you have a savings account?
yeah.
You have a credit card?
No,
Okay. Do you have a credit card?
Yeah.
Are you maxed out on your credit card?
No.
You have a credit card, bro?
Yes, I have a credit card.
Okay, you maxed out on it?
No.
Okay, all right, good. Everything is, but their personal decisions are in play at every single moment. No matter what you do, no matter what choice you make about anything at all related to, remember, resources, accumulation of skills, whatever it is, whatever allows you to accumulate more, every decision you make, you could make a different decision. That's personal decisions, okay? Now, give me an example of a structural factor that impacts inequality. Ella, we're going to go to you. How many people in your high school smoke crack?
I don't think any.
Okay, why not?
I don't even know if they could get it if they wanted it.
Okay, all right, there you go. Structural factor, right? See, it's like structural factors are things that in part are outside of our control that we don't even see and we don't really understand. How about this? How many kids in your high school dropped out?
I don't think any.
Okay, why not?
I don't know.
So, well, what do you think?
Most people just wanted their education.
Why do they want that?
I don't know. The alternative is you have to go get a job.
No, it's not. The alternative is awesome for many, many people. Many kids in the United States drop out of school.
Don't want to go to school. Maybe they can't commute to school.
Okay, go ahead, keep going. Keep going. Why? What else? Why else do they drop out? Just keep going. The list, we could come up with 1,000 things.
Maybe they need to get a job to support themselves or their families.
Okay, got it. Okay, you're going. Now you're on a roll. Keep going, right? What else?
Maybe they created something that they think is of higher value than spending it on their student loans or something.
Yeah, maybe they're trying to save up money to buy crack or something. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Maybe we'll never know.
Maybe they start a job. Maybe their parents, when they say, if you would have dropped out of high school, you'd call your parents and said, hey, I'm dropping out of high school. What would they have said?
They'll be disappointed again.
Dude, how disappointed, man.
Very.
You'd have been kicked out of your whole family. Think about this. What would they have done? They would have come down. They would have dropped the hammer on you, man.
Yeah, they beat the shit out of me.
Okay, all right. Okay, now we're talking, right? Laura, how about you? Give me some structural factors. Structural or historical. Explain, why is it so low for Hispanics? You're Dominican, right?
Because we don't really push ourselves or
What's the history of the Dominican Republic?
we're really poor.
Yeah, why are you really poor?
I really don't know.
You don't know? Yeah? Do you have any idea why the DR is really poor? See, if you don't study, okay, listen. Did you hear what she said? Yo, did you hear what she said? The first thing she said when I said, why are the Dominican numbers so low? She said, we don't push ourselves. Like, wait, hang on a second. You went back, go to the next slide. You went back to personal decisions, right? Like, and we're talking about structural and historical factors. I ask her, she's Dominicana. She's Dominican. I say, tell me the history of your country. What do you know? You got to give me something. And you said you're 18 years old, right? You don't have to know about the DR, right?
Yeah.
But, okay, but people expect you to at some level, okay? And I say, why are you so poor? Why is the country so poor? We don't push ourselves. I'm like, dude. So first off, my area of study and for my PhD, master's and PhD program is Latin American studies. So I'm what's considered to be a Latin Americanist, okay? So, and then secondarily, Africa, okay? So Latin America and then Africa. So if I gave you a book about the history of the Dominican Republic, and you read this book, and you would read the book going, oh my God. You'd see this history and these structural factors, and you'd see the way that the Dominican Republic got played by mostly the United States. First the Spaniards and the Portuguese, less the Portuguese because you all just took Brazil, or were given Brazil. And then you spent all the money on gold, bro. If you hadn't spent all the money on gold, you'd be like Belgium today. But like, you're Portugal because you got all this gold everywhere, but you didn't invest it. Okay? So listen, but you would read the history and you'd say, whoa, hang on a second. We don't push ourselves as one piece of it, but there's this whole other piece that is much more difficult to access because you got to study it. And that's harder. And that's why it's a lot easier to go to personal decisions, structural and historical factors. Give me another one. Structural factors. Inequality. Can you go back one slide? Dude, look at these numbers. Just look at black people, man. All I've really gotten from you thus far, look at American Indians. All we really got from you thus far is, well, American Indians, black people, Hispanics need to push themselves a little harder. What else is going on that can make sense of those numbers? How about the Asian numbers? Why are the Asian numbers so high? Do you know why they're so high?
Yeah, because they push themselves.
Nah, dude, they push themselves. That's the one thing. It's the structural piece. The sociology is the structural piece. Because the Asians who are coming here, the very high rates of Asian in-migration into the United States first included East Asians, and then secondarily, most recently, included South Asians. So it's Indians, Sri Lankans, Pakistanis, but less Pakistani. Pakistanis, okay? Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. Bangladesh is pretty poor, right?
Yeah.
Really poor?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you think people from Bangladesh are here in the United States? Who comes to the United States from Bangladesh? The poorest of the poor? Okay, who comes here from Bangladesh?
I guess the privileged ones.
Definitely. Same with Indians. Had anyone gone through a phone book recently and looked at doctors at your local clinics and look at how many of them have Indian names? Do you think you're coming here for that purpose? So there's a whole structural series of factors. Like recently, immigration shifted, and certain Indians are coming here. They make more money. They have more money. They're better able to move forward in lots of ways. And so they look at the average household income. It's huge. It's much higher. That's a structural thing. And in part, that's because the United States, are you ready? We don't really want poor people here. Nobody really wants poor people. We'll take poor people. Every country will take some poor people because you have to. But every country would rather have rich immigrants than poor immigrants. And so, yeah, you take the wealthy folks. You want that. Same with Dominicans, by the way.
I'm going back to the historical, structural, and then my community type of thing. So you got to think back to when America was formed. It was formed by white people, and they had slavery back then. So and up until the 1800s, right? So you have to think that white people had a better standing off than other races in America.
Yeah.
And then the continuation of discrimination within America after slavery, affecting those incomes of other races.
Okay.
So you have to think that, and then also.
Okay, let me just stay right there. Okay, someone who's a finance major.
I'm a sophomore.
Oh, that's
so
all right. That's
not
all right.
yet.
That's okay. Okay, go to the next slide. That's $5. Okay, what's the 1M is a million.
Yeah.
What's the 30? You said invest $5 per day. What's the 30?
30K.
No.
30.
No. What's it represent? What do you think? What's the miracle of compound interest?
Like that $1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow.
No. Well, yeah, but it's that if you invest your money and you count in an interest-bearing account, okay, and the interest is high enough, well, whatever the interest is, if you compound it over time, so my money tomorrow is worth a little bit more than it is today, okay? And then the next day it's worth a little bit more that day, and you keep doing that, you compound it over time. Over time, with enough time.
Yeah, because you invested it today, so it's worth more today.
Exactly. And if you invested it 30 years ago,
It would be worth more 30 years ago.
it would be worth more than it would 30 years ago. It would be worth a lot of money, right? Yeah, exactly. Okay, so listen. So what these numbers are $5 a day times 30 years is $1 million at a high yield, growth account. Not super high, 8% interest. That's not super high. That means I look around. How much? Wait, hang on. How much did you spend on that? $10? What do you think it was?
Campus cash.
Yeah, okay, campus cash, and you don't even know. Definitely it was more than $5. So if you did that every day, you save $5, you put it away in 30 years, it's $1 million. That's pretty simple math. It's very simple, right? Okay, it's a lot. The miracle of it's not just simple, actually. It's a miracle. It's the eighth wonder of the world. Compound interest. Dude, go to the next slide. What are those numbers in 2050?
I don't know, man. I'm not a calculator.
No, but what do you think they're going to be? What do you think they're going to be? They're going to be higher? They're going to be lower?
Obviously higher.
Whose numbers are going to be the highest?
Asian, for real.
For sure?
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
I saw a data table like for 2010, and Asians were still at the top.
Okay.
So I think I'm not assuming, I'm pretty sure like Asians will be.
What are black people, Hispanic people, and American Indians going to be talking about in 2050?
Inequality?
Yeah? What are they going to be saying?
They are going to say the same thing that they say right now.
Okay.
But I believe that the order is going to stay the same. The Asian and the white people are going to have the biggest money.
Okay.
But also, I believe we are going to have the black and Hispanic people are going to improve a lot.
Okay.
And the difference between right now is not going to be the same in 2050.
Yeah, it's going to be a little different, but
Yeah.
mostly we're going to see it. And in black and Hispanic people and Native Americans, Laura, what are they going to say about inequality?
That they don't get paid enough.
And what else? That they got a fair shake, that
Yeah.
you know what they're going to say? You know
What?
what Dominicans are going to say?
What?
They're going to say, hey, if you really want to understand why we're so poor compared to white people and Asian people, right? You got to read history. You got to see how it was back in the 19th century, the 18th century, then the 19th century, and then the early part of the 20th century, what happened to the Dominican Republic. And then you got to see what happened in 2021. And then you got to see you got to look at the white advantage, and you got to look at the Asian advantage, why Asians are so high. And you got to look at that. But people aren't going to look at it. You know what they're going to say in 2050? What are they going to say? Why are Hispanics so poor? What are they going to say in 2050? Go
They
ahead,
don't-
you know.
That they don't get paid enough?
No.
Like,
No, no,
that
no.
We don't know the history, or they
No.
don't.
They need to work.
Because what's it called? We don't push ourselves.
You
hard
don't
enough,
push
yeah.
you don't push yourselves. They're going in 2050 they're going to be saying the same damn thing. Cuz that's the one thing that people are going to look at. It's going to be the personal stuff. Go back to that slide with personal and structural. They're going to focus on personal decisions. They're going to focus here. And I'm going to say, "Wait, hang on a second though. The miracle of compound interest is operating also right here. If you get a head start, then you're going to do pretty well. If you're all basically equal, okay, if you're all basically equal, and there's not much indication to assess. There's some differences in culture and so on, right? Like, for example, if I go to school with just like a lot of poor Dominicans, there's going to be more families that would be okay if you were in one of those. There are going to be more, disproportionately speaking, that would be okay if you dropped out. If it's middle and upper middle class Dominican families, you're not going to drop out.
My parents would kill me.
Yeah, okay, they'd kill you. So it's going to be the same with you. Wouldn't matter. We can compare the schools, okay? Same. All right? But wow, how is that?